Oh yes, we're taking it back today, all the way back to Madden 06, one of the best Maddens ever on PlayStation 2, and we're going to be playing one of the best game modes ever, which was known as Rushing Attack. If you're an old-time gamer, you definitely remember this. If you're new to Madden and you don't remember this, definitely stick around. I think you will enjoy this. It was one of the best fun mini games that we had in Madden. As you can see back then, we also had Superstar mode in the game, which looks to return this year in Madden 20, but today we are focused on Rushing Attack. We're going to take it on in the rookie difficulty, Pro, All-Pro, and All Madden back to back and see if we can take it down. We're going to start out with the Saints, go against the Panthers. We're going to keep the matchups division rivalry based. Now, the idea of this game mode is you have 60 seconds on offense to score as many touchdowns and rack up as many yards as possible. You definitely also want to use the sidelines to your advantage to stop the clock when you don't feel like you can score, because that'll just allow you to get more possessions. Anytime you're tackled in bounds, much like real life, the clock is going to keep running, and that's going to limit your possessions. You also get bonus points for broken tackles, like if you truck somebody, like we just saw right there, big old Deuce McAllister, a Saints legend, running over. I'm not sure who that was. Now we're changing direction, and we're going to go in untouched, and of course, I mean, we have to showboat just a little bit. But you also get bonus points, as you can see, if you score consecutive back-to-back touchdowns. Now, this is rookie difficulty right here, which isn't too hard. We only have 2 defenders to go against, a linebacker and a safety. But as the difficulty gets higher, there's more defenders added on the field, but you still only have your 1 lead blocker, which is your fullback. So it gets a lot harder to outrun these guys, to juke them, to truck them. The jukes and the spins weren't really too overpowered this year. The best thing, or the best way to break tackles, was using the truck stick. As you see there, we actually failed on the truck stick, but that was the most effective way to break tackles in this stage of the game. Running, trying to juke and spin just didn't work as good this year. So we have one more run. Can we get it in? And Deuce McAllister just catches an absolute body, trucks them, and then showboats into the end zone. So we got a bunch of points. We got well over 4,000. So now we go to the defensive side of the ball, and you can see we're coming out stuffing them on the first play. So the idea here is, of course, limit their yards, limit their touchdowns. You get some bonus points if you have a user tackle. You get bonus points for hit sticking, for tackling them behind the line of scrimmage, and also if you force a fumble. And Steven Davis just completely he just juked us all out there, and we weren't able to do anything. So one of the things I do is I kind of take the safety sometimes, and I just try to run and take up the first block, which is the fullback will sometimes target you if you run down really quickly, and then that kind of will free up the linebacker sometimes to make a tackle. But as you can see, these last few times it didn't really work. You can see here, this time I just kind of took out the fullback and let the linebacker make the tackle. Or you can get on the linebacker and try to get down there yourself and make moves. We really don't have to do much on defense this time around because we scored so many touchdowns. We scored consecutive touchdowns, so it was actually really easy for us to rack up points. So the computer would have to score a tremendous amount to even keep up with us, and it just doesn't look like they're going to be able to do that. So the rookie difficulty is going to be taken down because we were able to put up tons of points on offense. But as we get further in this, you're going to see that it becomes a lot more of a defensive style game. Stay tuned. Okay, now it's time to take on the pro difficulty, so it's going to get a little bit more tough. So we're going to up the caliber of running back. We're going to go with Shaun Alexander, who at the time was a top 5 running back in the game, was a guy that could break a lot of tackles, had some decent speed, could really make guys miss, and he just came off of, a really, really great season. We're going to go against the Rams, who are a division opponent, and just as we were talking about Shaun Alexander, here he is on the loading screen. This was one of my favorite loading screens back then, when they would show some of the best players in the league and show the stats that they had the year before. Kind of wish they would bring something like that back to the game, but as you can see, the season he just came off of about 1,700 yards, 20 touchdowns. You don't really see that too much these days because it's such a pass-heavy league. But here we go, pro difficulty. You can see we have an extra defender on the field now. There's 2 safeties instead of 1. So definitely going to be a lot harder. You're going to definitely notice that it's harder to score touchdowns, harder to get yards, and even harder to get out of bounds sometimes as well to preserve that clock. So it does become more of a defensive game the harder the difficulty gets, because not only is it hard for us having to go against 3 defenders, but when the CPU gets the ball, we're going to have 3 defenders on defense as well. So it's a little bit harder on offense, but it's a little bit easier on defense. So you have to make sure to make your tackles and make things happen for yourself on defense once you get in these higher difficulties. Here you can see Shaun Alexander trying to make something happen. Nothing really happening yet. Going to try to truck this guy. We're going to run him over just like that and score the touchdown. Now we're back trying to go from further out. Whoa, Sean Alexander with the stiff arm, and we're down to the 3, but this is a bad area to be when you get really close. It's hard to get in sometimes. We need to try to get to the pylon, and we do with Sean Alexander. Like I said, he was one of the better backs back then, and again, another vicious truck. That is what this guy could do. He could run you over. He could hit you with the stiff arm. He was definitely one of the more elite backs at this time in the league and in the game. As you can see here, we were able to put up about 1,600 points, not the greatest. And Steven Jackson was an animal himself back then. He can make guys miss. He could really do some damage, and he's definitely a guy that was hard to bring down. And on cue, you could see Steven Jackson just completely annihilated the linebacker there and scores his first touchdown. So we have to get a little bit more stingy on defense, because if he scores maybe a couple more touchdowns, this could be bad news for us, because we did not do too great on offense this time around. Trying to make Steven Jackson miss, you could see he always seems to fall forward for those extra yards. Definitely a tough running back to bring down, and boom, laying the hit. We got the user hit bonus there as well. And then now I don't know what we're doing. We got a hit, and then just the next play later, like, what is Bullware doing right here? What are you doing, sir? So we got to keep playing stout defense. We're holding him, and he finally falls into the end zone, but we're still up a decent amount. He's got less than 20 seconds left. We make another user tackle bonus, so we're looking pretty good. It's looking like we're going to be able to pull this one out as well. Steven Jackson gets taught. Just got to bring him down, and we do. He's got about 1 rush left in him. Even if he scores here, it should not be enough, and that's going to be all she wrote for the pro difficulty. So we got 2 dubs in a row. Up next, we're going to take on all pro. Now we got to take on the all-pro difficulty, which means it's getting a little tougher, which means once again, we are going to up the running back here. We're going to take Clinton Portis, who back then I believe was like maybe a top 7 running back on the game. I don't believe he was top 5. I think he was like maybe 6 or 7, but he was one of the fastest running backs on the game, and that is what we're going to absolutely need, because it's going to get a little bit tougher. You see again the loading screen. The Donovan McNabb 2004 season. Back then, that was considered a great season. 3,800 yards, 31 TDs, 8 interceptions. Nowadays, that would still be considered a good season, but we're so used to seeing such crazy stat lines now. As we are off with Clinton Portis. Now, you'll notice there's still 3 defenders on the field, but this time there's 2 linebackers instead of 1, which makes it a little bit tougher because you have 2 guys on that front line of defense. It gets really hard to beat these guys to the sideline, and especially when you get close, a lot of times it gets hard to get it in, but we punch it in with Clinton Portis. You're going to notice we're going to use these sidelines a lot here. We're going to have to use them to our advantage just to get us as many carries as possible, because with having so many defenders, especially 2 guys up front, it is very hard to move the ball, very far. You can see these linebackers have good sideline to sideline speed. They are running us off the field, and it makes it very hard. Can we get to the pylon with Clinton Portis? And we go out at the half-yard line. That's not where we want to be, but luckily we get a toss play again, and we're able to just barely break the plane. As you're going to see, this is going to have to be a defensive struggle. We're going to have to win this with defense, because we already have 17 seconds left, and we only have scored once. We're using the sidelines the best that we can to our advantage. Clinton Portis using all of his 96 speed, but the Eagles are all over us. We're just picking up little yards by little yards, trying to do whatever we can to maybe get this second touchdown and help put us ahead. And we're going to break the plane again with the broken tackle. We have 4 seconds left. We're not going to get much here. We're just going to get a few yards, go out of bounds, and give ourselves one last carry. Here, can we make a big play? We're going to have to go for the truck stick. Can we truck him over and get a touchdown? Nope. No, we can't. That was not good. But we got defense now, and we got Sean Taylor, one of the best safeties to ever play the game, and we open it up with a hit stick fumble. One of the best safeties ever. He's all over the place. We're in the backfield making tackles for loss, laying the boom on Brian Westbrook. I'm telling you, Sean Taylor, one of the best to ever play the game. He is making it easy for us to contain Brian Westbrook here, and just like that, Sean Taylor got pancaked. I mean, come on, guy. We can't have that. We can't have that. We need more hit sticks. Come on, Sean Taylor. We need you to make a play, and he just gets his ankles broke. But it's okay. That's only 1 touchdown. We're doing pretty good. We're up by a decent amount. There's only 30 seconds left. Sean Taylor laying the boom once again, and another fumble. We get a fumble bonus, helping our score get, increased right there. And we are all over Brian Westbrook. We are pretty much bottling him up for the most part, not letting him get too much. And just like that, he fakes the whole defense out and gets in. But we still have a good lead. Those hit stick bonuses and those fumble bonuses have helped us. He's only got 10 seconds left. I don't think he's going to have enough time to make it happen. We're laying the boom with LeVar Arrington and another fumble bonus. This one is going to be a credit to the defense, and Brian Westbrook had to show off on us one last time to end it, but we do get the victory. Now we have to move on to All Madden. Oh yes, it's time to pull the big guns out now. All Madden difficulty means we need an All Madden type running back. That means we need the best running back in the game, and that is none other than LaDainian Tomlinson. Once again, you see the loading screen for Edgerrin James. 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, almost 500 receiving yards. Another great season. Back then, you saw multiple guys going over 1,500 yards. But now you don't really see that too much because the league has changed. But here we go. There are 4 defenders on the field. We get a stiff arm and a hurdle on the first play. We're going to showboat into the end zone. That's why you get LT for this difficulty level, because it's going to be very hard to break those tackles. It's going to be very hard to get touchdowns. There's 4 defenders on the field now, which also means it's extremely hard to use the sidelines to your advantage, because it's hard to get to the sidelines with all of those defenders. So you really have to try to get the best running back you can, go head up and try to run over defenders. But now we are in that no man's land and we get tackled for a loss. It's giving our opponent a bonus there of 100 points, and we get tackled for another loss. Now they're just racking up points and we just can't seem to get free. We're stuck and we're trying to get as much as we can with LT. We cannot seem to punch it in. I mean, look how quick they get to the backfield. The safeties are in the backfield literally the second you touch the ball, and again, that's the 3rd tackle for loss. Our opponent has as many or half as many points as us now. We finally fall in for our 2nd touchdown, but there's 10 seconds left and we've only scored twice. It is not looking good, and then we fumble the ball, giving our opponent more points. We're going to try to run him over with LT. We do, but just like that, the defender is there to clean us up. The computer already has half of our points, so we have to play amazing defense here in order to win this. I don't know how we're going to make this happen. We really can't let them score maybe more than once. We need to get some user bonuses, and just like that, we're going to lay the boom with the strong safety and get 150 points just like that. That is what we need to do. We need to be stingy. We need to make user tackles for loss. We need to lay big hits because we only scored twice. Our points are extremely low. We cannot allow the computer to get in, and we get another big hit that time by the computer, so no bonus there. And just like that, Tatum Bell gets a good animation, a good hurdle, and scores, and we have to really play good, and we get another fumble. That is going to help us out, give us 100 points. We're doing okay. We just can't let them score maybe more than once. We have to be stingy. We have to get as many user points as we can. We almost messed up there. Look at the strong safety just stumbling into nowhere. We almost messed up there, but luckily the computer cleaned it up for us. There's only 10 seconds left. We look like we might be able to pull this out. We have played absolutely stingy defense, only allowing 1 touchdown. We are cleaning up the runs, and we are all over everything. Just make the tackle, guys. Make the tackle, and let's go home, and that's it. We get the dub. 4 dubs in a row. We beat every difficulty. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more stuff like this, definitely drop a like and comment below if you enjoy these type of videos. And as always, I will see you guys next time.